With Prabhupada Lilamrita. We are today going to read 11th chapter, and Hare Krishna Mamta Mataji, welcome. Hare Krishna Sujata Mataji and Vidura Prabhu, thank you so much for joining us today. We will begin with the Prabhupada Pranam Mantra. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll briefly revise what we learned in the last chapter. Last chapter of Prabhupada Lilamrita, as we learned that Srila Prabhupada Ji, Abhay Charana Ravinda, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he took a sannyas. Abhay Charan took sannyas and his name became A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And the sannyas was in 1959. He took sannyas from his god brother, Bhakti Keshav Maharaj, who's sitting on this picture in the middle. And this was at Gaudiya Math temple. So Srila Prabhupada, now his name became A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Now, after sannyas, then Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he continued his preaching mission, and his main mission was to print the books. Right, that was the main thing. So he was printing the Back to Godhead, but then some of the feedback from some of his supporters and readers was that he should write a book rather than publishing the magazine, because a book will be the permanent thing. And first book he published was the Easy Journey to Other Planets. That was in 1960. Srila Prabhupada, at that time, scientists and people in general were talking more about travel to the space. And then Prabhupada Ji, through the Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedic literature, she explained how it is possible to go to the other planets by the process of bhakti. And he published Easy Journey to Other Planets, as well as he keep on publishing Back to Godhead magazine. But then his desire to go to America and preach was very strong. So he thought that I should have a solid Vedic literature with me when I go to America. So then he started translating Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit into English language, which was not available. And then he started this translation work in Radha Damodar temple in in Vrindavan. And writing was in Vrindavan at Radha Damodar, and then publication and printing, he used to do it in Delhi. So there was to and fro travel all the time. He's in Delhi. He stayed at Chippewada place, where there was a temple, and in the temple there was a pujari. His name was Keshav Pandit, and he was helping him to print the Back to Godhead magazine, as well as help him in writing. And his schedule was very busy. Okay, Krishna Pandit, he says here, He used to translate Shrimad Bhagavatam before dawn, about 3 a.m. In the beginning, there was no typewriter, but then he arranged a portable typewriter. He would do this really daily work and cook his food himself. I arranged raw materials for his cooking. Sometimes he used to come to my family asking my wife to get some food. Sometimes he also bathed at 5 or 6 in the afternoon. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada was working day and night, and he was typing many, many hours of work. All the time he was typing translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Srimad Bhagavatam was no ordinary work actually. The size of the work which Srila Prabhupada had thought was that 18,000 verses he wanted to translate and explain based upon the commentary by previous acharyas. And the first cantos, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear me? I hear you. Okay. So, first canto which Srila Prabhupada had imagined while translating, first canto's chapter, 17 chapters will be 3 volume work of 400 pages each, right? And second canto with 10 chapters would be like 2 volumes. In this way, Prabhupada had imagined that his whole Srimad Bhagavatam work would be total about 60 volume work, and it would take to translate and print and publish, it would take 5 to 7 years. That was the approximate estimate of Srila Prabhupada while he was uh, um, working. Now, translation was one part of it, then the publication was another part, right? So, and then distribution. So, all these things were there. And in meantime, Srila Prabhupada got opportunity to go to Japan. Actually, there was an invitation from Japan, but because of the lack of the resources, Srila Prabhupada could not go to Japan. But then at the same time, he published a small booklet. It's called Light of Bhagavat, which had some of the explanations uh, Srimad Bhagavatam and pictures by the Japanese authorities, Japanese artists. So this was the Light of Bhagavatam, featuring 50 commentaries with illustrations based on Srimad Bhagavatam. But then Prabhupada ultimately could not go to Japan because of the financial situations. But he's staying in Radha Damodar temple and continuing his Srimad Bhagavatam translation work. So that was the 10th chapter. Now we are going into the 11th chapter, and the 11th chapter is called as The Dream Come True. So this is very interesting chapter, and here is the quote from Srila Prabhupada. Vidura Prabhu, you want to read this quote for us? Srila Prabhupada, thank you, Prabhuji. So here, Prabhupada is always thinking which is the cheaper way. Whether go to America through Tokyo, Japan, or any other way. Which way he can get a cheaper tickets. And he, in his dream, also he was thinking like he's in New York. So that's Prabhupada always wanted to go and preach the mission. Now, before he embarked on this journey to America, he wanted to publish Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, publishing the Bhagavatam involved writing, translating word by word, and publishing. Writing was the half battle, right? It was just not enough. Writing was a humongous task, but the next part of it was the publishing and distribution. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master, uh, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, they always emphasized on publishing and disseminating the knowledge in the English language, so that the modern world should know about Krishna consciousness, and the Krishna consciousness can be spread all over the world. And that was the first and the last instruction by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada took it to heart, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya Akya. So Srila Prabhupada was doing this work of translating and printing the books, but some of the God brothers, they were thinking why he's spending so much time and efforts to make a new commentary on Bhagavatam, because there is already commentary by great acharyas like Sridhar Swami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They already had a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. And there were commentaries by Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiv Goswami. They were already there. But Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj already thought about it, that even though the commentaries are there, the knowledge is deteriorating because nobody is reading them. It has to be distributed to the wider audience all over the world. And Gaudiya Math by itself was not doing much efforts in printing the Vedic literature. Despite criticism from some of his god brothers, Srila Prabhupada pursued the task of writing and publishing. And this was the order of his spiritual master. So, taking his guru's order to his heart and soul, Srila Prabhupada, in spite of financial difficulties, he continued his task of writing. And this was the only mission he was doing all the time, writing and desire to publish it. Now, publishing required a lot of efforts. It was not an easy thing, because commercial publishers were not interested in 60 volume Srimad Bhagavatam series. Right? Srila Prabhupada had this dream that entire Bhagavatam, which includes like verse by verse, synonyms, translation, purports, all based on the commentary of previous acharyas. And this would need 60 volumes, 60. And so it needs a lot of money, a lot of donations. And commercial publishers were not interested in taking such tasks. So Srila Prabhupada, in spite of this challenge, he was not demotivated, and he continued writing in Vrindavan, then visiting all the known people in Delhi area, New Delhi area, collecting little funds here and there, and desire to publish always was there. Fundraising was a real challenge. Not everybody was helping him. Some people were criticizing him, and uh, he was staying in Radha Damodar temple for writing, and then always go to Vrindavan, New Delhi. Now in Delhi, he approached a personality called as Hitasaran Sharma, who was assistant to or secretary to a very wealthy person. His name was Dalmia. So, and this person, Dalmia, owned a press. So, Radha Press was the name of this printing company. So, Srila Prabhupada approached this person and said that, can you please help me to print it? So, now they said we will print it, but we won't give you any money for printing. We'll help you, but you collect the funds of your own. And they suggested that he visit a great author and devotee, Hanuman Prasad Poddar. Hanuman Prasad Poddar is related with Gita Press Gorakhpur. So Srila Prabhupada took his work, like an entire writing, and he took it to the uh, Gorakhpur. He traveled from Delhi to Gorakhpur, which was about 475 miles. When he had no money, he traveled with little money, very little money, and he went to Gorakhpur and he met Mr. Hanuman Prasad Pottar. And Hanuman Prasad Pottar then generously donated 4,000 rupees at that time for printing this first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam when it was ready. Now, all the time when he is in Delhi, he is staying at this place which is called Sri Radha Vallabh Temple in Chipewada in Delhi. This is in 1960s. And you can see on the left hand side this picture here. Uh, Here is the picture where this is the narrow lanes of Chipewada, very crowded place. It is very near to Jama Masjid, and he stayed in the temple in a very humble, like in a rooftop, in the top of the like a build this temple building. There's a small room, and you see this triangular structure. This is right. The temple is right beneath this, so that's why they had this dome over here, so that nobody can step on this area. Uh, Very heavy, congested area, lots of noise. It's not a quiet place actually. But Prabhupada stayed here at this place and he also translated, continued translating, very, very humble. Like there is no furniture here, just one light on the top in the ceiling and not even the clean place. But Prabhupada stayed here and the Pandit, Mr. Krishna Pandit, who helped him to stay here and help him with the food and accommodation and everything here. So, very humble environment. Prabhupada stayed and he had no money. So, somebody was helping him to stay there with the food and shelter. Now, Hanuman Prasad Pottar, as I said, he donated 4,000 rupees for printing first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, now this printing was done by this, as I said, the printing was he connected with the Radha Press, which was owned by Dalmia. But then the printing size was, the font size was very small. So Prabhupada, what he had to do, he had to write, translate all these books. Then he would come to the printer. Then printer would print it. For paper, which is required for this printing, Prabhupada purchased it by himself just to save money. So if it is a small quantity, he would bring in rickshaw to the printing press, and if it is large quantity, he would ship it there. Then after printing, then he would have a proofreading, then second proofreading, then third proofreading, and then final printing. So those were there. And then while the printing is going on, Prabhupada continually writing the chapters, like one volume after another. And he personally corrected the proofs. He So as I said that cost was the major issue. Like first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam would cost about 7,000 rupees, and he got a donation of 4,000 rupees only. So there is a short by 3,000 rupees. So additional funds he raised by going door to door, asking the people to help him out. Now, Radha Press could not print because the font size of what they had was very small. So there is another press there in Delhi area. The name of the press was OK Press, which was owned by a Gautam Sharma. So now they gave him some break. They said that, okay, you print, say, 1,000 copies, which would cost 7,000 rupees. And we'll release first 100 copies to you. You sell, you collect the funds, and then give the funds back to us. Then we'll release another few hundred copies. So in this way, then they were releasing the copies in batches so that Prabhupada can sell and collect. So Prabhupada had this proofreading, printing, bringing the paper, publishing, and now distribution. The selling of the Srimad Bhagavatam was also uh, one important thing. And Prabhupada always wanted it to be done very quickly. Like Mr. Sharma, who was helping him, he says that he used to say, time is going, quick, do it. He would be annoyed with me also, and he would have me to do his work first. So Prabhupada wanted Bhagavatam to be printed very quickly. He didn't want it to stay there delayed, because he always thought that he's getting old. Like Prabhupada is now almost, he's 68 years old at this time, you know, while the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam is coming out. So he personally was observing the uh, printing, binding of the books, and Prabhupada always used to say to Mr. Sharma, now you have wasted my 2 days. What is this, Sharmaji? I'm coming here. I told you to come in the morning to do this, and you haven't done it now. So whenever there was a delay in printing, Prabhupada was really upset at the printer, because he wanted to finish his task very quickly. And here is the golden picture actually. I searched quite a few of this, and then I found this original pictures, covers of the first three volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, you would be surprised, but this book has this jacket, dust jacket, which is wrapped around the book. Now, this was also designed by Srila Prabhupada with the help of an artist from Bengal, actually, Calcutta. So he saved a lot of money because, and you see the first binding, the covering of this was there was a Radha Krishna picture, like Golok Vrindavan, and then there was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's picture there with his associates. And then there is a spiritual world and then material world at the bottom. And then similar concept in the second volume of first part of first canto, and then the third canto. So this is a this illustration, still we use this, right? And this was done in 1960s by Srila Prabhupada. Very, very amazing, and a lot of people, when first volume, after printing the first volume, uh, first canto, first volume, about 1100 copies were produced by donation from Mr. Hanuman Prasad Poddar. And Srila Prabhupada, he got first 100 copies, while the remaining were with the printer, because the money has to be collected, right? So he sell 100 copies, collect more funds, give it to the printer. Like that he was doing. And quite a few people wrote reviews about Prabhupada's first volume. And here is a review by Hanuman Prasad Poddar about the first volume. Sujata Mataji, you want to read that review? Okay, I think she is not. Yeah, can you read it for us? Thank you, Mataji. So, Mr. Hanuman Prasad Pottar is a well-known personality in the spiritual field, and he was the first one to give 4,000 rupees, like a big donation. So, when he saw this, he was so happy, because he liked he when he met Srila Prabhupada. when he read the written translation of Srimad Bhagavatam with the word by word translation and all, he really thought that this is worth publishing and worth recognizing. So Hanuman Prasad Potar uh, wrote this when he read. Then Srila Prabhupada then met Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, actually. Dr. Radhakrishnan was the uh, president of India at that time. And then some of his godbrothers also wrote reviews. Here is by Subon Maharaj, who was godbrother, and he wrote here. Mamta Mataji, you want to read this? Yes. Resources. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Mata. Thank you so much. So Bon Maharaj also wrote an article review on it, and then there is a governor, Sri Bishwanath Das, who is the governor of Uttar Pradesh. He also received a copy of the this first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he writes here. Vidura Prabhu, you want to read the review? Uh, so a lot of people, like Vice President of India, was Dr. Zakir Hussain. Now he is a Muslim person, but when Srila Prabhupada met him and gave him a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, he writes here, I have read your book Srimad Bhagavatam with great interest and much profit. I thank you again for the kind thought which must have prompted you to present it to me. So he was also yeah, very favorable. And first volume was published, and a lot of people appreciated it. So now he returned to Vrindavan, and now he had to work on the second volume, first canto. Right? So he came to Vrindavan, Radha Damodar temple, where he could quietly write down the book, and that was ideal place, for him because there were Vaishnava Acharya samadhis were there. He was living there, very simple living, and he would focus on translating the books. So now is the second volume, and second volume. The first volume had covered the first 6.5 chapters of first canto. So volume two will begin with the eight verse of seventh chapter, starting on the page 365. And at that time, also there was another donation he received. Uh, there was a sugar factory which donated 5,000 rupees in Delhi. So they donated 5,000 rupees for printing the second volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada could print out. Uh, Now, this was more than 4,000 he had received from Hanuman Prasad Poddar for volume, so he could print. Now, the distribution part, he personally distributed, but he also went to some of the book distributors, like wholesale book distributors. And one of them was Mr. Manohar Lal Jain, and he writes here, Manohar Lal Jain comments about what was the distribution of the books looked like for him. So here, Vidur Prabhu, you want to read this? So he was very challenging for Prabhupada to printing is one task. Now another thing is to take out to the people, and this was like a big work, 60 volumes work. Nobody wants to publish it, and distribution was also a challenge. But Manohar Lal writes here that my cells were good because this was the best translation. Sanskrit text with English translation. No other such edition of Srimad Bhagavatam was available. I sold about 150 to 200 copies of this first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam in about 2 to 3 years. I mean, 200 copies over the period of 2 to 3 years is not a lot of thing, because this book was single book, first volume. It had cost was 16 rupees at that time. So still it took a long time to sell 200 copies. So price was very little, only 16 rupees. He had published his reviews and he had a good sell, good market. The price was reasonable and he was not interested in making money out of it. So Prabhupada wanted it to reach out to many more people in English language. So he was printing in English for foreigners actually. He had a good command of Sanskrit as well as English. When we met, he would speak in English and his English was very, very impressive, right? So further Manohar Lalji writes, he wanted to publish, but he wanted me to publish. So he said, Manohar Lalji, can you publish it? He said, I don't have finances. I told him frankly, I would not be able to publish it because it was not one or two volumes, but many. But he managed anyhow. I referred him to Atmaram and Sons, and he used to go there. Uh, if I sold 100 copies of first volume, then I figured the second volume would also be sold in the same manner naturally. But definitely, those who would take the first volume would also take the second volume because it was institutional and institution where will always try to complete their set. So Prabhupada tried to distribute it through this. Now, one time he got an invitation from the Vice President of India to visit. In 1964, he interviewed, he met actually Vice President of India Zakir Hussain one to one. He was Muslim, but he appreciated Srila Prabhupada's efforts and uh, he invited Srila Prabhupada at a presidential palace. This was through one of the contacts who connected him. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada at that time spoke to him about the importance of love or love of Godhead. And there was a discussion between them. So it was a really good meeting. Then Srila Prabhupada, through one of his common contacts, he got an opportunity to meet Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri at that time, in June 1964. And Srila Prabhupada at that time gifted Lal Bahadur Shastri the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lal Bahadur Shastri also appreciated. And he wrote here, Vidar Prabhu, you want to read? So thank you, Prabhu. So when Srila Prabhupada gifted Prime Minister of India the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam, then Prime Minister appreciated and wrote a letter to him. Then Srila Prabhupada wrote back to the Prime Minister requesting, can Prime Minister help him to distribute this or can Indian government institutes buy this first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam? So then the Ministry of Education at that time in India, they purchased 50 copies of Srimad Bhagavatam. So first volume and second volume they bought. So this is like just like that. So here Srila Prabhupada published first and second volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam now. And at that time he also met Srimati Morarji. Now, Srila Prabhupada is continuing his translation, and he wanted to publish now the third volume of Bhagavatam. So he wanted money, and for money he came to Mumbai. And when he came to Mumbai, some people criticized him that he's a sannyasi selling books and raising money. But Srila Prabhupada was not raising money to make money. He was raising money so through the book distribution and asking for the donations so he can publish more volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he stayed there with a family businessman, Dalmia family, for about 15 days, and then he was visiting all the institutes in Mumbai so that he can distribute the more copies of Srimad Bhagavatam. He used to carry with him the picture with Prime Minister Shastri, Lal Bahadur Shastri, and reviews also used to show to the people. And somehow or other, he came in contact with the Mrs. Morarji. Now, this Morarji is the same one. She's the owner of a Scindia shipping company who had offered few years back Srila Prabhupada 50% discount on his voyage to America. But Prabhupada had no money to even pay for 50%, right? So that was a big number. But this time, Srila Prabhupada ji came to meet Mrs. Morarji of Scindia Shipping Company for asking the help for Srimad Bhagavatam printing. Now, Srila Prabhupada came there and they did not allow him to meet her because she was busy, in her meetings and business things. So Srila Prabhupada sat chanting for about 5 hours on the steps of her office building. Why? Because he thought that somehow or other, while she's going in and out of her office, he will be able to talk because they did not allow him to meet her. So when he was sitting there for 5 hours and chanting all the time, and then Mrs. Morarji, when she was leaving the office, she saw, oh, some sadhu is sitting there. So she asked, who is this sadhu? And then they said, oh, he's sitting there for 5 hours because he want to meet you. Oh, she said, okay, come to my office. And okay, so Srila Prabhupada came to his office and okay, I want to print the books and I need some help. So she said, okay, meet me next day morning. So Prabhupada ji go back to his place. He was staying in a dharamshala there. And then next day morning, he comes back to meet Mrs. Morarji. And Mrs. Morarji, after hearing all the details from Srila Prabhupada, says that, all right, if you want to print third volume, I will give you the money. Whatever you want, you can get it printed. So now Srila Prabhupada has a donor who has agreed to help him printing third volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now Srila Prabhupada has not started writing yet third volume, but now he has got the money for printing the third volume. So he has distributed the 2 volumes and then he's got the third volume also. Writing and printing is done. Now, as we read in the initial part, Srila Prabhupada says that here, Srila Prabhupada's quote here, which Vidura Prabhu read in the beginning, that Srila Prabhupada says, I planned that I must go to America. Generally, they go to London, but I didn't want to go to London. I was simply thinking how to go to New York. I was scheming whether I shall go this way through Tokyo, Japan, or that way. Which way is cheaper? That was my proposal. And I was targeting New York always. Sometimes I was dreaming that I have come to New York, right? So he is a scholar, he is respected within the community, he is distributing books, he has met Prime Minister, Vice President, he's met famous business people. This is all because of book distribution, right? So whatever the position Srila Prabhupada has achieved as of now with lot of hard work, okay, just this is what we are reading is even not even 1% of Srila Prabhupada has gone through. Like living in a humble environment, living in a place where there's no facilities, no money, and writing word by word and translating, and all the time Srila Prabhupada is also chanting his rounds, right? And sometimes we think that we are doing the seva and we don't chant rounds sometimes. That does not happen with Srila Prabhupada. So now Srila Prabhupada has all the three volumes printed, and now he has the mission. And what is the mission? Go to America. uh, because he has basic ammunition is there with him to. But then he was one time. Krishna arranges everything for Srila Prabhupada. That is what here it is. Sponsorship. There is one strange thing happened in Srila Prabhupada's life. Um, Srila Prabhupada writes here. Mamta Mata, you want to read this? Hare Krishna. Now, this is a very interesting thing here happening in Srila Prabhupada's life. In Mathura, he met a businessman. His name was Mr. Agarwal. And just like Prabhupada used to preach everybody, distribute the books. And so he told, I want to go to America and uh, I want to spread the message. So Mr. Agarwal did not know much about Srila Prabhupada at that time. Just few minutes they had met. So he said, "Oh, my son is in America and he sponsors many people, sadhus. His son Gopal Agarwal." So he said, so Prabhupada said, "Why can you request your son to sponsor me?" And Mr. Agarwal said, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." Just like casually he mentioned, "I will ask my son." And Prabhupada thought that it was just a casual conversation, right? But then, after 3 4 months, while Prabhupada is traveling between Vrindavan and Delhi and distributing the books in Bombay, and he's busy with his book distribution, he gets this information from the Indian consulate that his visa is is there, and there was a sponsor willing to help Mr. Gopal Agarwal, who was in Pennsylvania at that time, and he had done all the work required. So he obtained the Gopal Agarwal. He filled the form at the Indian consulate in New York. He attached his salary certificate, letter of employment, letter from his bank balance. As This is all 1965, right? And everything was notarized, stamped from New York. It came to Delhi, and the sponsorship was approved. So now, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has a sponsor in America. But having a sponsor is one thing. But now what he needs is the passport. Prabhupada never had a passport, right? Then he needs a visa. And at that time, there's another form called as P form, which is required for one to go from India to America. They have to submit a P form from the bank, where the bank has to write that this person who is traveling to America has no debt or no case or anything is against him, like that. So that Indian government has to get it done. And then the last part of the challenge was collecting the money to buy the tickets. So having a sponsorship was one thing, right? So that part is done now. Mr. Gopal Agarwal has sponsored, because he has sponsored quite a few sadhus in the past, but none of the sadhus whom he had sponsored ever went to America. So Gopal Agarwal, when he get a message from his father, Mr. Agarwal in Mathura, "Oh, can you sponsor this sadhu?" And Gopal Agarwal said, "Okay, I will sponsor it." So he thought this is one of those incidents. None of the sadhus went to America because they have financial and other problems. But this time, Prabhupada got the sponsorship. and he had intense desire to go to America. Now, how do we get the ticket? So, if you remember, Scindia Shipping Company had sponsored 50% off on his travel to America on a ship. But Prabhupada ji now really went to Mrs. Morarji again because he says that I must get the ticket. So, with his passport, sponsorship papers, he went to Bombay and he approached Mrs. Morarji here at the Scindia Shipping Company. And there was a secretary of Mrs. Morarji. His name was Mr. Choksey. And he was impressed with the Srila Prabhupada's work. So he informed Mrs. Morarji that Bhaktivedanta Swami has come. You gave him some donation for the books, if you remember. Now he has come here, but he wants to go to America, and he needs your help to get a ticket. Mrs. Morarji initially declined to give a passage to. So she didn't meet Prabhupada directly. The communication was going through Mr. Choksey, who was the secretary. And so Mrs. Morarji said, no, he's very old. Like he was 68, 69 years old. Right? So he was not in a very good health also at that time. So he says, no, Swamiji cannot go to America and he should stay in India and publish Srimad Bhagavatam, distribute the Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada said, I want to go to America. And then he said to Mr. Choksey that, can you please help me to meet Mrs. Morarji, somehow or other. So after a lot of pursuance, then he said, okay, I will arrange a meeting with Mrs. Morarji. And then Srila Prabhupada met Mrs. Morarji. During the meeting, Mrs. Morarji said to Srila Prabhupada, here, Sujata Mataji, you want to read this? So in the beginning, Mrs. Morarji said, oh, Swamiji, you're too old. You're taking this supposed. Do you think it is all right? Mr. Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, it's all right. But Mrs. Morarji, but my secretaries think that you're going to die there in America because it's very cold. New York is very cold. And you are old, man. How will you survive? You're a vegetarian. You have no possessions. How will you survive there? You don't know many people also. So you might die in that cold atmosphere. But then Srila Prabhupada persisted. Oh, I want to go to America. I want to go to America. Okay. Then Mrs. Morarji, after his hearing Srila Prabhupada, he said, oh, all right. Okay, I'll give you the ticket. You must finish your P form first. He has got after P form, then he has to apply for the visa. So now Srila Prabhupada has sponsorship, he has got a passport, he has got a ticket. But now he has to get P form and the visa. These are the two things. So then Mrs. Morarji arranged accommodation for Srila Prabhupada in her Scindia Shipping Company. There was a yard there where her employees used to stay. So Srila Prabhupada stayed in that employee residence accommodation area. And Mr. Choksey was helping Srila Prabhupada to get his visa process done and his P form also. So they were helping him. While he was waiting for all this patiently, the people in the Scindia Shipping residential area, colony, was like Scindia Shipping Colony, people were friends with Srila Prabhupada. One of his neighbors in that Scindia colony, he writes here, Vidura Prabhu, you want to read? See, here is the old man, 69 years old man. Ah, just to save few paisas, he used to walk kilometers and kilometers. Why? To distribute the books. So Prabhupada, while he is in Mumbai at Scindia colony waiting for his visa and P form, he was going out and distributing his Bhagavatam sets because now he has 3 volumes of Bhagavatam and all the 3 volumes are ready to go out. So he was like going out and distributing the books, struggling very hard. And he became also friends with people staying in the Scindia colony. And they were giving him some food like grains, like rice, sabji, fruits, etc. And like a lot of people were giving him this food items. So then Prabhupada used to distribute to the children there. And he used to give classes, Srimad Bhagavatam classes also while he was staying there in the in this India colony. Sometimes Prabhupada used to walk hours and hours. He used to leave in the morning, come back in the evening. No books were sold. Like Srila Prabhupada used to get frustrated, like because nobody was buying the books. But then, despite that, like physical labor, mental stress, uh, Prabhupada was very patient, and he thought that no, I should continue my distributing the books, because his this was his main mission was printing and distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. That was his main mission, and that is why he was going to America. So Mrs. Morarji says while he was staying in the Scindia Shipping Company colony, he used to be invited by Mrs. Morarji to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mrs. Morarji writes here, Mumta Mataji, you want to read this? Mumta Mataji, are you there? Okay. Maybe Sujata Mataji can read. Okay, no problem. Yeah, you can read, Prabhuji. No problem. Thank you, Prabhuji. So 10, 15 days, Prabhupada used to distribute the books and preach Srimad Bhagavatam. And he used to come to Mrs. Morarji's place, teach, explain her Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, while he's waiting for this P form and visa, he's continuing his preaching mission. He's not sitting quietly. 69-year-old man, right? So that's not a young man here. Well, this P form also had a challenge, because it has to be obtained from the bank. And Srila Prabhupada writes, formerly there was no restriction for going outside. But for a sannyasi like me, I had so much difficulty in obtaining government permission to go out. I had applied for a P form sanction, but no sanction was coming. Then I went to the State Bank of India. The officer was Mr. Maratachari. He told me, Swamiji, you are sponsored by a private man, so we cannot accept. If you were invited by some institute, then we would consider. But you are invited by a private man for 1 month. And after 1 month, if you are in difficulty, there will be so many obstacles. But Srila Prabhupada says, I had prepared everything to go. So I said, what have you done? I have decided not. So he says, the bank's official says, I have decided not to sanction your P form. So now Prabhupada's P form was not sanctioned. He has a passport, he has the ticket, he has a sponsorship, but no P form, so he can't get the visa. So he says, I am not going to give you P farm. So Srila Prabhupada says, no, 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 don't do this. You better send me to your superior. It should not be like that. So Prabhupada insisted, no, I want to see your superior authority because you can't refuse my form like that. So then Prabhupada met the seniors in that bank. So he took my request and he sent the file to Chief Officer of Foreign Exchange. So he was the supreme man in the State Bank of India. So I went to see that supreme man because this bank has to give a letter that this person has no debt in India. So he went there and he asked his secretary, Prabhupada asked, do you have such and such file? You kindly put it to Mr. Rao. And then I want to see him. So the secretary agreed and put the file. And he put my name down to see Mr. Rao. And I was waiting. So this Mr. Rao is the main person at the bank. He comes personally and he says, Swamiji, I passed your file. Don't worry, your P form is released. So finally, Srila Prabhupada got the P form. So it's a Krishna mercy. Everything is coming along now. Now, final day is coming. So Mrs. Murarji scheduled a place for him. So he got a visa after P form. He got a visa. And now the ship, the Jaladuta, was scheduled from Calcutta on August 13th. So Srila Prabhupada, he is in Mumbai, and Mrs. Murarji has arranged the shipment of the ship Jaladuta, which will go to India, to America, from India to America. Now she arranged in such a way that the captain of the ship was favorable, was vegetarian, one who can took all the care of Srila Prabhupada. And the captain of the ship was Mr. Arun Pandya. And Mrs. Murarji gave this Mr. Pandya very much instruction. He says, please carry, she says to Mr. Captain that please carry extra vegetables and fruits because the Swamiji has certain dietary restrictions. And Mr. Choksi, who was her secretary, he just give me 10 minutes.
I'm done.
Oh, done. Okay, thank you, Murray. So the secretary was, he took Srila Prabhupada to buy some warm jackets, clothes, so that Prabhupada doesn't have a cold there so in this way, they spent almost 200, 300 rupees at that time for Prabhupada's travel to America. And and the Prabhupada is now ready to embark on the ship. So Prabhupada goes from Mumbai to Calcutta. But now is the place. Calcutta is the place where Prabhupada is born and raised. His family is there. But Prabhupada has no place to stay in Calcutta. He writes here, Prabhupada says, where have my loving father and mother gone now? And where are all my elders who were my own folks? Who will give me news of them? Tell me who? All that is left of this family life is the list of just the names. So Prabhupada is in Calcutta, but he has no connection with his own family members. He stays at one of his friend's place, and he remembers his childhood pastimes also, and he's lamenting that all was like gone. His childhood pastimes, father, mother, everything was gone. But then Prabhupada is now going to board Jaladuta. And what is the luggage? So the main luggage of Srila Prabhupada is here. Several trunks containing 200 sets of 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. 200 volume sets, 3 volume sets. That was the main luggage. And the other luggage was very simple. A single suitcase with umbrella, some food, snacks items, and some clothing, nothing much. But the main was this 200 3 volume sets of Srimad Bhagavatam was the major thing Srila Prabhupada carried. Uh, and uh, he was going on a mission which was in an unknown, unfamiliar country as a foreigner, a poor man without any recognition. Like there's no temples in America like what we have now. There are no ashrams, no free stay, challenging environment, and he is on a mission now. So it's a very courageous move by Srila Prabhupada at the age of 69 years old, man. It's not a young age also. And now Srila Prabhupada is on the board. Uh, Srila Prabhupada says today at 9 a.m. embarked on the Jaladuta. Came we with me, Bhagavati, Dwarvan of Sindhya, Sansir, Mr. Sen Gupta, Mr. Ali, and Brindavan. Brindavan is his son actually. So Srila Prabhupada's the people who came to see him before he boarded the Jaladuta. And Srila Prabhupada is on a mission. With what a great difficulty I got out of the country. Prabhupada had no easy time to go to America. It's a lot of work. It's a lifetime of work, you can say. Like, it's 70 years of his life, as of now, he is preparing. This is all work which is preparing him to go to America. I got out so I could spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Otherwise, to remain in India, it was not possible. I wanted to start a movement in India, but I was not at all encouraged. So now here is the Prabhupada on Jaladuta, and he's now on a mission to fulfill Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction that all over the world there will be spread of the holy name, every town and village. So that is what now Prabhupada is on the Jaladuta. So this is Prabhupada, 69 years old man. This is Srila Prabhupada's passport. This is copy of the Jaladuta passport copy here. And this is the passport, which is a passport for Goloka for us. Prabhupada's passport, which helped many of us to get there. This might be the passport, Golok passport for many of us, if we follow Srila Prabhupada. There's some of the pictures of the ticket here, Sindhi Shipping Company ticket. And that's the picture of Srila Prabhupada with the 3 volume sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that, we'll pause here for today and we'll continue our journey of Srimad Bhagavatam tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments you have, Prabhus? All amazing, right? An old man on a mission and unbelievable, right? There's so much courage and so much consistency in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada had this deep belief that only Srimad Bhagavatam can save us. And Srila Prabhupada continued that Srimad Bhagavatam, translation, a lot of difficulties. It was not an easy task for Prabhupada to translate this Bhagavatam, print it, publish it, and then again getting through all the financial things. But ultimately, Prabhupada, Krishna mercy, Prabhupada was able to do all the things. So very encouraging, very inspiring, and the book distribution. The books are the basis again. The whole thing comes to the thing is that when Prabhupada did so much hard work for publishing the book, writing the book, distributing the books. Can't we do the simple thing of reading the books? You don't have to do any much hard thing, just reading the books, right? I think it is our main responsibility to read Srimad Bhagavatam. After seeing the hard work of Srila Prabhupada, I think our heart should melt and we should take the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam very seriously. I think Prabhupada did it for us so that we can read it and go back to home, back to Godhead. If you don't read, nothing is, the Prabhupada's all labor is wasted then. So, yeah, this is my realization. Thank you, Prabhu.